What is going on, everyone? We're back again with our review. Today's video, we're going to be talking about this revenue and payroll chart that I thought was pretty interesting to talk about. So how this basically works is it ranks each team on the revenue that they made in 2023 and their payroll in 2024. So you can actually see how much each team's made and then how much they put towards their payroll for 2024. And then we have the percentages on the right side, which I'm pretty sure is how much of that revenue they put towards their payroll. So it's a pretty interesting chart when we break this down to see that the Mets were number one in their payroll, obviously, and you can see each team has like their little number ranked. So next to the Mets right here, you can kind of see the 11 because they made the 11 most money last year, and then they were the number one payroll with the number one right here. But this whole chart is just ranked on percentage of, you know, how much of this revenue they put towards their payroll. So it's very interesting to kind of see this and kind of see where teams are kind of focused at, because we do know not every team cares about winning. I mean, that is a fact. If you guys don't believe me, you can look at some of the teams on this list, kind of see like teams kind of in the lower region, I feel like, where you just make a lot of money, but you just don't put it back in the team. And then resulting of that, you just, you know, don't win, but you make money. So, you know, the owners get happy. And that's why you see this in a lot of sports. That's why some owners just get a franchise just to make, because you're going to make more money than what you have to spend regardless. So it is kind of funny looking at this. Yeah, you can see a team like the Dodgers, right? They made $149 million last year. They spent $330 million, which is only 60%, which is crazy because they were the best team last year and they actually destroyed everyone. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of teams on this list that are just in an interesting spot, to say the least. Like a team like the Rockies for sure. Like, you know, they definitely make a lot of money, but they really don't win ever. Like, that's why it's interesting to see like kind of some bad teams on here, at least up with how much they spend. This chart like shows that the Blue Jays are really trying to win with how much money they spent, but yet again, they could be spending the money in not the right places. You know, like for example, you know, like we have some terrible contracts in the league with some players that just aren't worth the amount of money they're making. Like Chris Bryant, for example, on the Rockies, hasn't even played a full season yet. He's been on that team for 3 years. But I don't know, I thought it was just an interesting list across the board. Like the Rays and A's, I know I'm kind of blocked with my webcam a little bit. You can even see like the A's made $241 and they spent 84, and they're the worst in the league at number 30, but they still able to put more money to their team, unlike the Rays did. So definitely an interesting chart we have here. What are you guys' thoughts about this? Because I know money's a really big topic right now. I know everyone kind of wants a salary cap, salary floor kind of situation. We're seeing the Dodgers spend crazy amounts of money and ended up winning, and people are not really wanting to watch. There were some good comments I saw in some of my videos where people are like, I'm not watching because it's just pay to win at this point, or people are just mad in general about this. Which is definitely an interesting argument, because I feel like it was not like this years ago, because what Mike Trout's contract was the highest, you know, for a while, and then we had all these other big contracts with Bryce Harper, Judge, Ohtani, Soto, right? Even you look to like the Padres contracts with Machado and Tatis, right? So it's definitely interesting. At least the last like what 5-10 years, I've seen all these massive contracts come in, and we're seeing money is a big factor on why teams are being more successful than they ever have been before. So it's definitely interesting to see that across this board. And even if we look at the number one revenue, which was the New York Yankees, which honestly makes sense, they're the most valued franchise, they've won the most, they're probably the best franchise in this league, you know, of all time, if we say that. But yeah, almost $700 million, and they spent 316 at number 3. That's only 40%, which is just insane to even think about. They've only spent 43% of that money, which is about half. So yeah, crazy to see that. I feel like if you're spending about 50%, that's probably pretty good, I would say. If you make 50% of that and 50% goes towards the payroll, like that's pretty good, because teams got to cover, you know, maintenance on the stadium, employees, right? You got to cover all this stuff, travel expenses, right? All that stuff with the team's players, equipment, right? Spring training costs, like all these different things. So I feel like 50 is a pretty good amount to be at when you kind of factor in all these things, everything they make. Because this is not counting, this is just the revenue they made. You know, it's not all profit, right? So, you know, teams just have to cover so many expenses that they have to pay for, right? And that's besides the coaches and player salaries, which is in the payroll. You know, all the stuff that doesn't get, you know, accounted for on the balance sheets. But there's other teams that make this work, right? I mean, we talked about the Moneyball situation before with the Guardians, probably the best team on here with the lowest amount, at least with the percentage, right? I mean, even some of the Tigers, I mean, you look at this last year, they'll probably spend more this season, I had to guess, with some of the arbitration costs that they're going to go through and everything like that. But I mean, still 27th, and they were a playoff team with the money they spent. So to me, it's still really impressive. I mean, you know, the Orioles are starting to spend a little bit more money as well, so, you know, we'll see how that happens, but they still have a ton of rookies. So, I mean, everyone's on the rookie contract in that arbitration phase. So that's why they don't have to spend a lot right now to kind of win. But in my opinion, they're still like one of the worst playoff teams I've ever seen. So I'll be confident about them in the playoffs. But it's a very interesting list to look at. Kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about this whole money situation talk we're kind of having with these massive contracts? I think this list kind of shows what teams are putting most of their money towards, like, back into the business and kind of winning. And even like the Diamondbacks, for example, at 70% is crazy. And the Diamondbacks have been really good ever since that run last year. So definitely interesting list to think about. But what do you guys thoughts about this in the comment section down below? If you guys did enjoy this one, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.